The tragic killing of 22-year-old Lekan Riley in February 2024 became a defining moment in the country's contentious debates over immigration, crime, and border security. For Donald Trump, the case provided an emotional and politically charged rallying cry that not only mobilized his supporters but also played a pivotal role in securing key electoral victories during the 2024 U.S. presidential election. Riley, a Georgia native, was murdered by José Ibarra, an undocumented immigrant from Venezuela who had entered the U.S. near El Paso, Texas, in September 2022. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE, records show that Ibarra was initially detained by U.S. Customs and Border Protection but was paroled and released for further processing under Biden administration policies. Subsequent failures in the legal system compounded the tragedy. In September 2023, Ibarra was arrested in New York City on charges unrelated to Riley's death but was released before ICE could issue a detainer. The NYPD later denied having an arrest on record, adding another layer of controversy. This sequence of events ignited outrage among conservatives and became a powerful symbol of what they viewed as systemic failures in immigration enforcement. Trump seized on Riley's case as a cornerstone of his campaign, leveraging the incident to draw a stark contrast between his immigration policies and those of the Biden administration. On the campaign trail, Trump repeatedly invoked Riley's name, framing her death as a preventable tragedy caused by what he termed Joe Biden's open border agenda. At a Georgia rally, Trump declared, "This innocent young woman lost her life because of the Democrats' reckless immigration policies. Under my administration, this never would have happened." The former president's rhetoric was underscored by campaign advertisements that featured haunting images of Riley juxtaposed with footage of migrant crossings and chaotic border scenes. "Lekan Riley could have been your daughter, your sister, your friend," one ad intoned. "This is what happens when we put politics above the safety of our citizens." Trump's messaging extended to his policy proposals, which included reinstating Remain in Mexico protocols, resuming construction of the border wall, and ending the practice of parole for undocumented migrants. These proposals resonated deeply with his base, particularly in battleground states like Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, where immigration and crime were top voter concerns. Riley's death also galvanized state-level action. Georgia officials, led by Republican Governor Brian Kemp, quickly passed legislation requiring local and state law enforcement to verify the immigration status of anyone arrested, detained, or suspected of committing a crime. The law was hailed by Trump as a model for other states. "This is what leadership looks like," Trump said during a rally in Atlanta. "Georgia is doing what Biden refuses to do, protecting its citizens." The legislation, however, drew sharp criticism from immigration advocates and civil rights groups, who argued that it would lead to racial profiling and exacerbate distrust between immigrant communities and law enforcement. Trump dismissed these concerns, calling them more of the same radical left fearmongering. Beyond Georgia, Riley's death became a flashpoint for national Republicans. U.S. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, a prominent ally of Trump, brought the case to national attention during President Joe Biden's State of the Union address in March. Interrupting Biden's speech, Greene shouted for the president to acknowledge the killing of Lekan Riley, forcing the issue into the public spotlight. Biden, visibly shaken, responded by holding up a button that read, "Say her name, Lekan Riley," and offering condolences to Riley's family. However, his attempt to empathize was marred by a comment that sparked further controversy. "Lekan Riley, an innocent young woman, was killed by an illegal." "That's right, but how many thousands of people are killed by legals?" Biden said, before later apologizing and clarifying that he should have used the term undocumented. Trump and other Republicans pounced on Biden's remarks, using them as evidence of what they portrayed as the administration's indifference to the real-life consequences of its policies. Even former President Bill Clinton inadvertently bolstered Trump's argument. Speaking at a Democratic fundraiser, Clinton acknowledged that Riley's death probably wouldn't have happened if Ibarra had been properly vetted. Clinton's remarks, which included a broader call for improved vetting processes while supporting immigration for economic growth, were immediately co-opted by Trump's campaign. Even Bill Clinton admits it. Trump exclaimed during a Florida rally. The Democrats know their policies are killing Americans, but they won't do anything to stop it. Trump's focus on Riley's case proved to be a masterstroke in energizing his base and swaying undecided voters. His ability to connect the tragedy to broader themes of border security and public safety struck a chord with many Americans. In battleground states like Georgia, where Riley's death hit particularly close to home, Trump's message resonated powerfully, helping him secure critical electoral wins. While critics accused Trump of exploiting a personal tragedy for political gain, his campaign argued that the case highlighted systemic issues that needed urgent attention. This isn't about politics, Trump insisted during a televised town hall. This is about saving lives. Ultimately, the Lekan Riley case became emblematic of Trump's 2024 campaign strategy, using high-profile, emotionally charged incidents to galvanize his supporters and frame his opponents as ineffective and out of touch. The strategy not only amplified his calls for stricter immigration enforcement but also helped secure his path back to the White House,